And I'm very, very proud of the work that Janice and Alicia have done with many of our postdocs, and Shauna has done. And I just now I'm going to hand over the podium to Janice.
Great. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. All right. Thank you, Paul. Just really happy to be invited to update you on where we're at with our ENIGMA Education and Outreach Program. I'm, as Paul already said, our collaborators are Shauna, of course, is one of the PIs, and Josh Kurz from Tilapia Films, and he'll be speaking with us. He's online as well, and will be speaking with us in a few minutes.
Hi.
So oh, there he is. So I just wanted to update you as a reminder of what our original proposal objectives were for the broader impact portion of ENIGMA. In the proposal, we said we would develop the next generation of research leaders to study astrobiology through participation in ENIGMA research. And that's happening on a variety of levels, and I'm gonna report on the K-12 aspect of that. And then we also said that we would like to inspire a new generation of diverse students, as Paul just said, through learning experiences with the K-12 audiences. And as Paul said, we've really focused very hard on diversity and inclusion as a huge part of our work with ENIGMA. We really wanted to make sure that the people who benefited from the work in terms of the education and outreach were underserved and underrepresented youth, in particular, from local communities. New Brunswick, here surrounding our university, is largely a Latino and African American school district and population that surrounds the city. So we really wanted to think about, how could they benefit from our programs? Who really is this audience? How can we really help in their STEM pathways? And what kinds of materials would they need to really make that happen? And what kind of relevance does our programming hold for these kids? These are a few of our favorite students from McKinley Avenue School that a program Ken and Alesha led that I'll talk about in a minute. So here's our current status. I'll just want to give you an update. On that first objective, we really wanted to use local opportunities to pilot some ENIGMA materials and start to build some relationships so we could understand how these materials were viewed in these audiences. And I created this little graphic as sort of a summary to kind of update you and remind you of what we've done in the past year. We've done basically these three major efforts. We've done these what we call short-term exploratory programs, or we call them STEP clubs for short. We did 2 of those with roughly 42 students participating in the New Brunswick area. Roughly 92% of those kids were Latino and African American kids. Then we also worked with the STEM Ambassador Program, which is a program I've been running for many years here at Rutgers. This is, I think, our 12th year, where we take the rising 9th graders from some key cities throughout the state of New Jersey. And Ken and Vic and some others offered a full day of ENIGMA training for these young people, which was a huge hit. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then finally, we had about 300 family members attend a family science night in 2 different schools that we shared with ENIGMA scientists, focused on life on other planets, which was also a huge hit. And then COVID hit, and a lot of the plans that we had to continue these 3 efforts were obviously very much changed with having to work from home. So we've switched gears to more of a online teaching environment. We're currently working on standing up a 4-H STEM blog. A lot of informal educators are sort of getting barraged with lots of resources to work from home. And what we've tried to do is tailor the same content that we've used in our short-term exploratory programs and family science nights into online activities that families could do at home. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a minute. But just wanted to share some photos of what some of these evenings look like. This is one of my favorite photos. We actually worked with the high school kids from New Brunswick High School who were fluent in Spanish and English, and had them come and help us translate with the families. We had great participation with the community, Rutgers community, as well as the New Brunswick community. We had the physics department, astronomy department, the geology department, all sent representatives to kind of help us with stations set up around the room that families could visit in informal ways. This happens to be an infrared light experiment that Dr. Tad Pryor did with the kids, and it was very well received. We also had the bottom picture there is of the Geology Museum folks who attended and also supported us. Of course, Ken talking about protein. And we also did a station called Meet the Planets, where we tried to help them put kind of the galaxy into context here of what life on other planets means. The STEM Ambassador Program, this graphic is nice because it just shows you some of the cities that we pull young people from. We take rising ninth graders from Atlantic City, Trenton, New Brunswick, Patterson, places like that, where they all come and spend a week on campus and do some intense training with us. They spend some time in roundtables talking to scientists to try to think about their career paths. They work with a scientist for a full day, a 9 to 5 day, getting a kind of a snapshot of what research is like. We had about 12 students work directly with Ken and Vic on this, and then present a science poster at the end of the week for their families. These kids also follow up throughout the year, teaching kids in their communities about what they've done on campus. So the ENIGMA work has lived on through that effort with our young people sharing their experiences with students younger than them. So that's happening. We're actually also working this year with a core group of 20 individuals who participated last year, I think 7 of whom were in the ENIGMA group, who will be doing some summer online training with young students. So we're very excited about that. As I said, we also started this blog. This has been going very well. It's getting a lot of good traction. Alesha has written up the activities that we did in the STEP clubs and has made that into an online product for parents and teachers to be able to access. We also hired an undergrad on one of our other grants who's been really interested in this project, and he has been developing these social media products, trying to get some these new graphics, again, repackaging this content, trying to get this material out to another audience of young people through this online environment. So this is part 1, what does it mean to be alive? We also did a part 2 over here, searching for life on other planets. They're putting it out on Facebook and Twitter, and they're also designing a TikTok challenge. I'm not a huge learner about what TikTok's all about, but this undergrad is all into it and is developing some little cool activities for them to videotape themselves doing some of these activities and posting it on TikTok. As you can see, they're encouraging them to go outside and find something you think might be an example of life and post it and have a discussion about it. So very, very fun and creative way of trying to extend the conversation. So part 3 and 4, introducing them to living environments and proteins. So they're creating a new life, and they're looking at proteins and pulling from some of the materials from the protein data bank folks and some of the neat activities that they've done. So this is all very new. I don't have a lot of data for you on what the impressions look like for this yet, but they are working very hard on it to try to get this content out there for all these young people stuck at home with no summer camps and no summer programs to engage them. I also want to share our other objective, which was talking about the development of these curriculum that could be shared more broadly beyond our New Brunswick community. So I'll talk about 2 things. Shauna's not with us, so I'm going to talk on her behalf about her amazing efforts to bring the Mission to Mars program to a national level with the National 4-H STEM Challenge, and also our efforts to develop a peer-reviewed curriculum based on the stuff we just shared for other STEP clubs around the country to use. So first we'll start with the group that we're using is 4-H Youth Development, which I work for. I'm the STEM agent here at Rutgers for 4-H Youth Development. As you can see, there is amazing coverage of 4-Hers around the country. There's basically kids in 4-H in every county in every state throughout the entire country. So the reach is tremendous, and the states in dark green are ones that have the largest membership, and the ones in lighter green have fewer members. But all to say, there is this amazing network of which we can share materials. So we've been trying to take as much advantage of that as we can. And Shauna and her mother, Robbie Morrison, have been awarded a national grant to develop the 4-H STEM Challenge for the entire 4-H network, which is super exciting. This STEM Challenge was formerly known as the National Youth Science Day, and it was designed to help inspire kids to take an interest in STEM through one day of hands-on activity and sort of learning that highlights different STEM fields. And they've been doing this for about 12 years now, and trying to really focus on showing kids how STEM skills apply to the world around them. And this is their results from last year. They did a really cool one on coding last year, and they got, you know, great results. I mean, if you look at these numbers, they sell these kits. They had over 50,000 youth engaged online. Face-to-face over 300,000, lots and lots of media impressions, and just all in all, a wonderful marketing campaign to really get this material out to all of the kids throughout the 4-H network. And you don't actually have to be in 4-H to use this material, but I would say that a large part of the population who is using this, of course, is in 4-H. And they surveyed the kids to kind of figure out what works about it, and they really found that you can look. My eye goes immediately to the location, and as Paul started, we see that the urban portion of it is a little bit lower. You're getting mostly suburban and rural kids, and that kind of fits in really nice with what 4-H is all about. It was, you know, obviously a program created to support the agricultural community, so the 47, almost half, you know, being rural kids is not surprising in that regard, and obviously very important to promote STEM in all communities. But as I said, you know, focusing on the urban communities is a particular passion of ours, because it is something that you know is very important in this time. So Shauna's working with NASA. Their short-term goals are to get this STEM Mission to Mars kit out. They alerted me this morning. I'm happy to report that there is an ENIGMA link in the kit, so they will be linking to our materials as a resource, which is super exciting. They are planning some scientist panels over the summer as well through Zoom to help kids connect to this content, and I told them that I thought that this team would be happy to contribute a scientist if they were willing to have us. So we'll wait to hear more about that. But they're really hoping to in the short term, get this Mars kit out, and really get, you know, kind of this engagement across the country in the late summer into early October, to really get them involved in this curriculum. Obviously, they've switched again to a lot of virtual stuff as well. They're looking at, you know, obviously leaning on the land grants to really help with deepening this content and making it available, which of course we will support here in New Jersey, and all of the land grants across the country will. There's also the online materials, 4-H at Home on the national level, and our 4-H from Home on the New Jersey level, where we're offering interactive webinars and resources for families via Zoom to really help promote not only these resources, but also our STEP Club resources as well. So, so everything, again, switching to this virtual online.